Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. On behalf of Beyond the Horizon, Pakistan's first smart thinking tank. And today we will talk about on a subject, impact of digital information and social media. Why I have selected this subject? Because this subject has the greatest impact on the mankind. And let me explain why the greatest impact. Just imagine, never before in the history of mankind, so many people at so many places and so much power on their fingertips. Mankind has found world's largest ungoverned space in the shape of internet under the fingertips. Today we have an ocean of social media. We can swim through this ocean, we can sail through this ocean, we can drown in this ocean, or we can sit on the beach to watch the ocean of social media as a spectator. What is social media? A simple definition is, it is a collective definition of all online communication channels dedicated to diverse communities to interact with each other. Social media, which was a trend, started almost 10 years ago. Today, it is the essential lifestyle of our daily life. Social media is the result of happening, not evolution. Who says? I say it. And why I say it? I would explain it. It's not evolution. It's not the result of evolution. It's just a happening. Let me explain you. I would like to take the example of some of the industries which are part of our life, in our day-to-day life. And I would just explain you that how these industries went through evolution over decades and century, and how it reached to the common man. Let's take the example of telephone industries. Telephone was invented in 1876 by Graham Bell, and it could reach to common man in 1980. Yes, it could be available with many people before 1980, but I am talking about common man, a common consumer. And we can also recall from our own experiences in our life that when it could reach to a common man, so it was somewhere in 80. So next, take the example of car industry. Car was first invented by 1886 by Carl Benz, and then it could reach to the common man somewhere around 1985. I'm taking this 1985 because of the experience which we had in Pakistan when Suzuki introduced its first local assembled Suzuki car in Pakistan. That was back in 1985. So the car industry took a journey of almost 99 years to reach to the common man and the consumer. So imagine the evolution over 99 years. Then we can talk about television industry. It was invented back in 1925 by Baird, and it could reach to the common man by 1980. It also took about 55 years from invention to the common man. Take the example of radio. Radio was invented in 1895 by Marconi, and by 1940 it could reach to common man, but not everybody. It still took 55 years from invention to the common man. Aircraft industry. Aircraft was invented 1903 by Wright brothers. And I can say that by 1980 and onwards, a common man could afford to travel in the aircraft. Our own PIA started its operation somewhere around 1955, and Emirates started its flights in 1985. So you can well imagine that it was available to a common man somewhere in 80s. And that means it also took 77 years to reach to the common man. Now look at social media. Social media did not go through this evolution of decades and a century. It was first identified as social media with the launch of Facebook in 2004. And it still took few years that people could understand what is Facebook. And then, within 10 years, social media was a household tool in the hands of more than 2 billion people around the world. In just 10 years. So that is why it is a happening. It just happened in 10 years. It did not go through the evolution. So what happens with the public? What happens with the mankind? When some industry, some technology goes through an evolution process, you get the time to adjust with that process, which is over years and decades. But in case of social media, you did not get this time. It happened and we are still wondering whether it is a hobby or it is a self-promotion, or is it a serious subject, is it a non-serious subject, it is credible or it is non-credible, whether it should be taught, whether it should be learned. So there are questions all over, and it is because that it has happened in a very, very short time. But now it is a time that we start raising these questions and we start getting these answers.